Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we are looking at continuing through the King's Tower, through the Brutal Citadel. Now this one, of course, was one of the most hated towers that we had within AFK Arena. That has kind of changed with the addition of Anasta, with the addition of the Awakened version of Brutus, and then of course with Kren, it made it incredibly easy, or a lot easier to get through here, guys. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to break down a couple of formations in here, go through the heroes that we do see within the tower and show you really the primary heroes that you're going to be using within the tower. So hopping over to our Mauler faction, probably one of the absolute biggest ones, guys. Similar to the Lightbearer Tower, when you see the Awakened version of Thane or the Awakened version of Belinda, is the Awakened version of Brutus. Now, Brutus, of course, can be used at a much lower level, guys. Even if you have him just at Legendary, Legendary Plus, Mythic, he will still work incredibly well. Fundamentally, he will still be there with the crowd control. Again, working pretty well, even at lesser game modes, being able to push through the tower an incredible amount. Now, the second one that we really see, guys, is Anasta. So Anasta came, and then the Awakened version of Brutus came. She has a lot of survivability, which is the big one, of course, looking at the plus 60 engraving, guys. The damage reduction goes up to 20%. She also recovers 60% of her attack rating as health. So she does have her own heal over time, which is awesome, but she also does come with her own damage mitigation. Now, of course, she can stack. When it looks at each stack reduces the amount of damage she receives by 20%. She can stack these up with the build, which is the reason why the 30960 really, if you want the survivability aspect from the Brawler's protection, it makes a really, really big difference. The third one that really drives these towers, guys, is of course Kren. Kren is another one, guys, the plus 60. Now, of course, with him being a damage dealer, the survivability issues kind of go away when you get that plus 60 engraving. But even here, guys, he does provide some crowd control. He does provide an incredible amount of damage. And his ult, similar to the Awakened version of Solus and a couple other heroes, his ultimate ability does do a significant amount of damage. Now, he is one, again, that you do want to build him out. The smoke bombs that he does with this enshrouding bomb will actually protect the allies that are going on the enemy side. If he's in a Screg combination, things of that nature will work incredibly well. Then, of course, guys, the plus 60, when he uses this skill, any damage received from enemies, excluding his target, is reduced by 50%. This is really one of the big significant things when we look at Kren. When he uses this ability, he actually goes very close, if not to the enemy side, to knock back a target. At that point, that is usually when Kren was getting killed. So if you don't have him at the E60 or the plus 60 engraving, that is probably one of the reasons why you're seeing Kren actually die early in the battles, is because he doesn't have this 50% damage mitigation. Now, another notable one in here, guys, is of course Anasta. Now, Anasta, again, 30960, guys, if you want to build her out, this is what gives her the ability to live. Now, one big thing with Antandra, guys, is she is still used in some of the Twisted Realm formations. She is still used in some of the Cursed Realm formations. We are seeing her in a lot of the Grand Hunt formations as well. Still a very, very reliable hero. Once upon a time when she came out, not super effective at all. Cetrina was actually the one, but we've seen Antandra grow through time and has found her spot and her utility within a lot of AFK Arena. Now, looking at the rest of the team, guys, and this is where it kind of gets really dicey with the Maulers, is you really have these first four, and I'd probably go with Salakai. Salakai, of course, provides an incredible amount of buffs: shielding, haste, life leech. Being a newer support hero, guys, this is literally the hero that got rid of Nemisu. Nemisu was the support forever, but he brings a ton, guys. He brings a ton with the furniture, brings a ton with the signature item. Also with the engraving, again, he brings a significant amount, permanently reducing the enemy's defense, which of course we use. Now, unfortunately, with that being said, Salakai, we are not really seeing a lot of utility. Again, I don't know many formations, Twisted Realm, Cursed Realm, where he is really being used. Outside of the tower, it doesn't seem like he is having a lot of utility, but In the tower, guys, there are a couple of heroes that do incredibly well. One being, of course, Scrag because of the invade, the 9 of 9 furniture plus 20 signature item. But this 9 of 9 furniture is what makes the invade team in there. So if you're running with the awakened version of Brutus, Antandra, if you're running with Anasta, if you're running with a couple of these heroes, guys, the invade team will work incredibly well. Now, another one, guys, is the plus 30 on Granite. That is really all that he needs, guys, is this plus 30. He has the ability to mark all the enemies with petrification, which, of course, when he dies, and he dies really fast, he will freeze all of the enemies, which, again, makes a really big difference. When you get into the tower, again, one team, Brutus, can kind of solo it, especially if you build him up a little bit. Absolutely no problem. Second team that works incredibly well is, of course, running with Kren. Now, I love running Brutus with Kren for the simple fact that Brutus will give Kren enough time with his immunity to allow him to ult. That is all you're looking for, guys, is getting Kren to ult. Kren provides an incredible amount of crowd control when he is ulting. Same with Anasta, guys. Anasta, if she gets the Brawler's Protection up, or when she does, very difficult to kill. Now, there are kind of some one-off heroes depending on who you built, but the pretty much the top 3 or the top 4 are the ones that are going to be the driving factor within the towers. And again, looking here, guys, Ty Lee does well, requires a significant investment. Thisu can do really well, again, requires a significant investment. Are these heroes that I'd be building out right now, even looking at like Drez? With the amount of heroes that we have in AFK Arena, I probably wouldn't build out a lot of these. Valero, no. K-Sauce, no. Nemitsu, honestly, at this time, probably no. Inoki was a no. Titus, probably not. Even Verk, probably not. Citrina, probably not. Warwick still has a little bit of utility, but overall, guys, that's the big issue that we've always found with the Maulers, is overall the faction has life leech, which of course doesn't really do too great in a lot of different game modes and what we have going on. But again, to push the tower, guys, it is really Brutus, Kren, Anasta, and Antandra, I say, would probably be the main primary damage dealers. Even when we go back and look at the tower and looking at different formations through different levels, guys, mainly that is the primary damage dealers that we see in here. So we have Anasta right down there. We do have Drez, but overall, guys, again, I wouldn't build out Drez just because we're not seeing him really used anywhere. He was in the Grand Hunt a while ago, has been since replaced by Anasta. So again, to invest in a hero that is just specific for the towers, I really try to shy away from, because it is a very heavy investment for a hero that is going to be literally used one place, especially with the ability to retry these towers, guys. Second one, of course, looking at Brutus and Anasta or Antandra, you can see, guys, doing a ton of damage in there. And then, of course, we have Kren with Brutus, guys. This is the combination that I use. Kren Brutus with Scrag works incredibly well, which is the reason why you see it pushed in here so much. Again, if you're going one tower, Brutus is a good choice. So is Antandra, probably before Kren, just for the simple fact that she still has utility. Unfortunately, at this point, Kren is used in the Curse Realm if you're not running the Awakened version of Baden. The Awakened version of Baden actually replaced him in about all of the formations at this point. So it's pretty interesting to see, again, who is kind of being run through here. Again, Anasta, definitely a solid choice. Ton of utility. The Awakened version of Brutus, the exact same. Then, of course, Kren and Anasta are the other ones to primarily build within the Maulers. And again, looking over, we looked at a couple of the leaderboards, the best in slot, the couple different formations, and unfortunately within the Hellscape, we really haven't seen any, and it's not showing because it just reset, but we're not seeing Salakai, unfortunately, being used really much of anywhere. When Salakai came out, thought he'd have a lot of viability. Then they released Palmer after that, so that really tied Salakai to the tower, because that is where he is really shining. All right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.